This video is about my near-death experience and how Jesus Christ has saved me. So let's jump right into it. Holy Spirit, I pray that you just help me to remember the story and tell it the right way and use me as a testimony. I want to get right into it because I don't want to make it too long. I was just coming from work, and it's about 1 o'clock in the morning right now, by the way. I was on the way from work and I was just driving, and the Holy Spirit just brought back to my remembrance of my car crash. Usually sometimes I think about it, but I never thought about it in such depth and such gratitude as I thought about it today. So God put it on my heart, of course, to share it because I wasn't planning on it because I'm like, it's pretty late, I want to go to bed, but you gotta be obedient. So I will be obedient. So basically, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna kind of expose myself in this video and be kind of vulnerable because I believe I got in this traumatic experience because of me just kind of not listening to God in certain ways and not being obedient to him and living the way that he wanted me to live at the time, or yeah. So let's just start from the beginning. I was newly saved. I was saved for about a couple of months. Yeah, and then this happened. When you first get saved, you got the joy of the Lord and stuff all on you, and everything, just nothing could touch you. Your faith is just like you can move a mountain. So yeah, I was just overly nice because I didn't know boundaries when I first got saved. I just knew the goodness of the Lord, and I need to share it, and I need to live like Jesus. I didn't know, you still need to put up a boundary because there's an enemy out here trying to rip your head off. So I believe that's kind of where I went wrong at when I first got saved. But it's okay. I live and I learn. So I met this guy. He was a previous friend of mine from my childhood, and he was going through a traumatic experience. And I believe God did place me in his life to cover him in the season that he was in. But then there was a certain time where God was like, okay, it's time for you to leave, because it was just, that's a whole nother story time. But it was just, he just wanted me to leave the friendship. It wasn't nothing. We wasn't dating or anything. That was he used to be a very close friend of mine, and it was just, God called people in certain life, like different things, and he will tell you to remove yourself because he know better. And I wasn't listening because I was like, I'm trying to help this person and whatever, and we grew a good friendship and all this stuff. Our friendship got stronger, and whatever you want to call it, just just me trying to make excuses and just not be obedient to God. So that led me to sin and just being depressed and stuff like that. Not really depressed, but like just not myself, because I was just pouring myself into this person and I didn't have nothing. I felt drained because our friendship wasn't equally yoked. So it's just like I was constantly uplifting this person and I wasn't really getting poured back into. And as a newly saved Christian, I did have a lot of faith and a lot of joy of the Lord, but I was realizing that it was getting stripped. And that's when you kind of know when it's time for you to separate from and like end the friendship or whatever it is with somebody. But I did, and I kept going and constantly, being this person friend and just being there for them, going places. I was close with their family and stuff like that. So yeah, I just kind of told you the backstory of like kind of why this happened. So I was leaving my friend's house. Let me go back a little bit. So the night before I left this friend's house, and I was just not in my right mind. I was like, kind of just going through it, kind of upset about our friendship and just how things were going. It just wasn't, I felt like I said, like I was pouring into this person, it wasn't pouring back into me, so it was very draining, and I was letting this person know because he was going through a lot, like a lot. So I drove home and I was just very depressed, and it was kind of wet on the roads. I don't remember if it was raining, but I know it was maybe wet or something, I don't know. It was late and I was just driving home to go home, and I was on the freeway and I almost got into a wreck, like a curve, and I was driving too fast. Like I wasn't in my right state of mind while driving. I wasn't drunk or anything, high, anything. I was sober, but I was not completely sober because of the mental, stress or whatever. Nothing happened, thank God, but it did scare me, and I just went home, went to sleep, whatever. The next day, I woke up. I went to work and I drove to his house to go. I don't know what I was doing. But I ended up leaving early, I believe, or something, because maybe it was a confrontation or something we had, and I ended up leaving. I just know when I left, I was in the same state of mind, but even worse. Like, I was feeling like alone and stuff, because first of all, my family was in New York at this time, and I was the only one at home. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to work, so I had to miss out on the trip. And yes, I was like, yeah, I might as well just go kick it and chill at his house. Like I said, I ended up leaving. And as I was leaving, it was raining, but it wasn't raining too hard or too bad, but it was wet on the highways and the road. So mind you, I'm driving home. I stay about almost an hour away from this person. So he stayed close to my job. As I was driving home, I ended up, like, I don't know, like, I was just in a daze. I could just remember my mindset was just so down low and so, like, and plus, I think I was so down low and depressed because, of course, I was pointing to somebody, but I was also in disobedience with God. Because remember, I told you that God wanted me to stop being around this person and just kind of separate myself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's, and I was just being hard-headed, not understanding, because I didn't understand boundaries at this time. I'm thinking I'm doing something good, but the whole time God, like, no, girl, like, I need you to do good for yourself. And as I'm driving home, everything happened so fast, I couldn't even really fathom anything. So I'm driving home, and I'm like 10 minutes, I'm down the street from my house. All I remember was the tires, something with the tires, like water got under the tires or something like that, and I just started spinning. The car ended up hydroplaning, and I would just go in circles. Everything happened so fast that I didn't even have enough time to be scared. Like, I didn't expect this to happen. I was like, not really, I was focusing on driving, but I was such in a daze, and I wasn't even going too fast, honestly. I think I was going like 60, but the car, it was a low car, so now I know when you have low cars, you're not really supposed to speed in the rain, because it's easy for the water to get caught up under the wheel. But anyways, I was just like, whoa, it felt like a movie. Like, in my brain, like, I'm just like, whoa. And the only thing that I can do in that moment was call on Jesus, and that's exactly what I did. I just said Jesus. As I called on Jesus, I'm just spinning. I just land and go boom. Landed to something. I don't know what it was to this day. I thought it was a wall, because that's how hard, like, the impact was. Like, the airbags exploded and everything. And like, the car would just smush. I'm gonna show y'all pictures and videos and stuff like that right here. The only part of the car that wasn't smashed was my side. It was smashed a little bit to, like, the door couldn't open, but I think it was just my side, and I think the right side. I don't know. I can't remember. And in the moment, I was just panicking, because I just see smoke everywhere, like, from, I guess, from the airbags, whatever it is in the air, and I couldn't really breathe, because I guess I was in shock, and then I was choking from, like, I guess the airbag, whatever that's in it. So the only thing I could do was think to call my mom, because, like I said, no family was in town. I was in Houston. We lived in Houston. I lived in Houston at the time, and all my family went to go visit my family in New York. So I just told Siri to FaceTime my mom. Thank God for Siri, okay? Because I couldn't reach my phone. I didn't even know where my phone was. My mom got on FaceTime, and I'm just crying, just like in disbelief, like telling her what's going on, but I could barely speak. That's what I forgot to tell you. I'm sorry. I could barely speak while I'm trying to talk to my mom. It's like my jaw, I thought I broke my jaw. That's how tight my jaw was, that I thought I broke it. Then my head was hurting. It was just a lot of pain that I was going through. My neck was stiff. I couldn't move my neck. So I'm thinking I broke my neck. I'm thinking I broke my jaw, and I couldn't move my arm. So I'm thinking I broke my elbow, arm, whatever, because I just couldn't move. I was just so stiff. And like I said, there was smoke or whatever was in the air. So the only thing I could do was try to honk the horn, because I thought the car was going to catch on fire, because the type of impact it was, and I didn't know what the smoke was. So come to find out, thank God that there was a police officer around. Like, there was a police officer on the side. I think he pulled somebody over, A, or B, another lady got in a car wreck, basically, and the police officer was tending to her. So it was like 2 wrecks. I was the second wreck that happened in the same spot. I don't know how she got in a wreck, but we ended up going on the same ambulance. So the ambulance came or whatever, and the firefighter came too, and the guy was like, climb out the window. I said I couldn't, so they ended up having to saw the door off. Like, that's how jammed it was, just for me to get out. So somebody said that I crashed into the police car, and I'm like, I don't understand, because that was a hard impact. So I don't understand how that was a police car, but it kind of makes sense because when I look back at the picture somebody took, there was no walls around. It was grass because I was coming down from the freeway. So I'm like, wow, y'all police cars are strong. And landing to the hospital. And as I just in the hospital, I'm just still in disbelief and not understanding what's going on. It really didn't process to me until I got out the hospital. That it's like, wow, God really, saved me. I ended up still going back to my friend's house because I literally had nowhere to go and I needed to be monitored. They doped me up on a whole bunch of medicine, which I needed because I thought I broke something. They tested me out, nothing was wrong with me. Thank God. I just had like a spasm neck or whatever, and just, I guess I just, sore it, whatever, in my arm. I just had scratches on my face, on my arm, but really nothing. And it was all thanks to Jesus, because it could have went way worse. But I ended up going back to the person hospital. I'm like, I have nowhere else to go. I mean, I have home, but like I said, they said I need to be monitored. Actually, I didn't. I went to my dad's house, and I think I spent the night because my dad ended up coming to the hospital and came and picked me up. And then the next day, that's when my friend mom came, because I was close with her too. She came, and that's another reason why I stayed close to that guy, because I was really, really cool. I called her my godmom. Like, she's the best, still to this day. So I went back to their house the next day, and of course everything is just different because I was already trying to end our friendship, but certain things just confirmed it even more, or whatever. My hard-headed tail went just back because I just felt lonely, like so lonely, and I still didn't just snap out of it and understood, okay, God, let me get away. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I ended up getting my life together, stopped talking to the person, and just started to be obedient to God, and just be obedient, because God does, he will wake you up. He will do whatever he got to do to get your attention, and his hand was still on me throughout that whole experience. And that's how deep I was just thinking about it today. I was like, what if a car smashed into me? What if I didn't hit that police car and thank God the car stopped? Anything else worse really could happen. I just know God, I feel like God just used that as a wake-up call, because I was just in disobedience and I just wasn't in alignment to where he wanted me to be in his life. And I was just so depressed, y'all. I just wasn't there with God like I did. I still believed in God and everything, and I was still connecting. I believe I was still reading my Bible and stuff, but I was not where he wanted me to be. I thought so, because I'm like, well, God, I'm just living your word out, being nice and doing all this giving. But if God tells you to remove yourself from a situation or whatever it is, just listen to him. Because God does chastise his kids. And I'm not just saying, I'm just blaming it on God or whatever, because obviously things can just happen. But it was just the grace of God and the mercy of God that saved me. But with my deep connection with God, I just believe it was a wake-up call. That's just in my discernment. I felt that I just needed it. So if you're going through this, I just pray that you get the strength and you ask God to help you to remove you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of God literally doing something so you will be removed. And that's not me trying to scare anybody or nothing, but that was just my experience. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I love you, but Jesus loves you more.